Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm here with Kyle today. And one of the little nuggets of wisdom from the members' calls that came up a while ago was Kyle said there was no such thing as a small upset. And rather than handling a charge and stuffing it, it was better to just be free of it. So I'd love to hear your philosophy around that, Kyle, and how we can deal with even the smallest upsets.
Great. Uh, so the other day, I live in Venice Beach, California right now, and there's a grocery store here called the Erewhon, which is amazing. I love going there. And sometimes I go because they have a really good buffet, and I go and you can eat outside. And I was sitting at the little table outside, and this guy came and sat down. I said, "Can I sit here?" I said, "Sure." And it turns out he was writing a book on brain development and how the brain works. And we got to talking, and he said, well, what we've discovered in neurology is that at different points in your life, it's like that there's a blank canvas, and then something happens, which is a traumatic event. What I say about that is that there's certain events that had more feeling in them than we could be present for. And that means we had to stuff those feelings. The way he says it is it's like it paints this canvas with that emotional energy. It's like, and then once that canvas is painted, that you're pretty much stuck with it. And anything that looks like that event, even lightly, triggers that same emotional experience. And I would say that that's accurate, is that there's certain defining moments in our development or even our adulthood that have an emotional charge to them and will define a certain experience, and then we start looking for that experience. We start mapping it onto things that aren't exactly like it and even aren't at all like it. And then it triggers the same emotional response. And I said to him, I said, well, I'm in the business of cleaning those canvases. And he said, well, it takes a long time. I said, no, it actually doesn't. Is that in inquiry method, we can do it like that. And he said, that's amazing. And he's right, it is amazing because it's not what we've been taught. So, your question about this is like when people ask me and they say, oh, it's just a small thing. I said, there are no small things because everything becomes part of this emotional hologram. It's like any incident, it could be just picking the wrong line at the grocery counter, right? Like I go up there to Whole Foods and I'm walking around and I'm trying to pick the shortest line, right? And I pick the line and then it goes really slow. Now, each one of us, I'm sure, have our own emotional, kind of energetic response. And the one I was imprinted with around that I no longer have to take seriously is I am the worst picker. I'm a terrible picker. I always pick, it was like this thing that I was always making the mistake. It's so silly. Do you even think that's like, right? But you're saying that this is and it's no small thing because that same pattern shows up in multiple places. Oh, I'm always doing it wrong. I'm always making the wrong choice. And so that doesn't have to be yours, but there's hundreds of things like that you experience every day that, you slip and you're cut yourself with a slightly cut yourself with a knife in the kitchen. You say, I'm such a dummy. Or you're driving along or you're walking along the street and somebody makes a funny face and you go, oh, they don't like me, or whatever it is. These imprints are all significant. And so just like in a hologram where even the smallest part of it is an echo of the larger part, or you and your DNA is the mirror. Just one little, teeny invisible thing has the mirror of your whole physical system, right? So in every little micro incident there's a way in. We were on the members call the other day. What did somebody say? I'm trying to remember now. It was like, it's just not worth talking about. I said, it's all worth talking about. You can get into the healing, the recovery, the release through any point, just like in the hologram, just like in the DNA is we can go into the slightest thing. Oh, I know. And they were saying, oh, I don't have anything to work on. I said, that's bullshit. We all have stuff to work on. It is impossible to get on there and say there's nothing. You don't have to work on anything. Of course, nobody has to work on it. But it's impossible to say I got nothing to work on. Everything's great because there's every moment, even in saying that, there's something to work on. So there's an availability and opening, and that's why inquiry method's so powerful. We don't need the dramatic, traumatic event to open up our consciousness, to release our ego, to get free from all these things that we're carrying. It's available in every moment, in every taste of life.
I love that, what you're saying, because I think so often, I'll speak for myself, why I don't pursue something, because I think it's going to be so hard, or like it's going to set me into this emotional spin out for days at a time. But, learning inquiry method and working with some of my fellow coaches from the program, the inquiry method training, and being coached by them, I'm like, oh, it doesn't have to feel draining or upsetting or any of those things. It can be fun. We can be laughing while we do it. And then the other thought that I had is that it's really funny. Something I've always noticed is as we move towards something we really desire, or we have this new great idea, we're like, oh, I want to, I don't know, go on a trip to Alaska and go on a cruise. It's like,
That's right.
Even in building the things that you want, you bump into all these beliefs that you have about like why you don't deserve it and can't have it. And so for me, it's not just cleaning up pain, but it's also moving towards what I want. The upsets come up. And so you're right. It's like, there's no small upset, because it's the thing standing between me and the thing I want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So good.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Kyle. And if you'd like to clean up all of your upsets, I think an excellent way to stay in the flow of growth and really have a community of support is to join the membership calls. We do those twice a week, Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, and then Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific. And it's just an awesome way to touch in with Kyle every week, get one-on-one coaching with him in this group setting, learn from other people's lives and what they're going through, and just stay in that connection. So we hope that you'll join us. The first call is free, and head on over to our website, lifeataltitude.com, to sign up. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Olivia. Great to see you all.
You too.